Hey, hello, beautiful people. Well, all right, what pushes your buttons? What gets your goat? What absolutely gives you the irrits? Is that what they say? What is it that, that one thing that just completely, that's it, it's sending you off the deep end? I think we've all got these buttons, right? And when they get pushed, it feels really out of control, right? It feels totally out of control. And nobody likes that. So if you want to hear a bit more about pushing buttons and what happens when they get pushed, then stay tuned. That's what we're talking about here. So hi, I am Kylie Ansett. I am the Alignment Whisperer, and I guide seekers of alignment to get in touch with their inner brilliance, that part of them that shines so bright, that has all the answers. Because I truly believe that we all have that within us. So I'm coming to you from beautiful Sydney, Australia. Tell me, where are you tuning in? I would love to hear what part of the world you are at the moment. And this is your daily dose of alignment. Okay, let's talk about button pushing. Button pushing. Now, I do this little exercise with my clients where we talk about button pushing and shadow values, and I'm kind of not talking about that. This is a little bit different because we're not talking about how to identify your shadow values. We're talking about when you are going about your daily life and something happens, and it's something that someone else does, and you just, the teeth are on edge. It's like the fingernails down the chalkboard type of reaction. It happens so fast that you almost have no control over whether you kind of even had a choice in the reaction. And the thing about that is, you really feel out of control. So not only does the thing annoy you, because, right, it's annoying, but it's also kind of scary, because when you kind of react and have that instant feeling, there's a real sense of not being in control. There's a sense that someone else is controlling how you feel. And nobody likes feeling like that, right? Like, that's not a pleasant place to be. So I have got the answer for you. Look, I don't know if it's the answer, but it's an answer. It's an exercise that I have tried. It's a way of looking at this that puts you back in the driver's seat, because I think that we all like to feel that we're in control, and these kind of things happen and really just throw us for a complete, what do they say? They throw us out of control. So here's the thing. You always have a choice. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, that's all very well, but you don't understand. When that person does that thing, I have no choice. Let me explain to you from a brain science. Now, I am not a brain surgeon, but sometimes I feel like I am. Because from a brain science perspective, the reason that reaction happens so fast, the reason there is such a tiny gap between when that thing happens and when you get that reaction, is because it's called myelination. It's basically this process where your brain has created, you've thought that thought, you've had that reaction so many times that your brain has created a covering around the neurons, which means that they react faster than a speeding bullet. Like, it happens so fast. Now, we all know that if you want to have a little bit more control around your feelings and your reactions, you need that little gap, right? You need that moment where you go, oh, I'm starting to feel irritated. I might just back away. Or, what do they say to the kids? Go and count to 10 type of thing. It's that sort of thing. Now, what... Hey, welcome. So, but what happens is, when this is a habitual thing, when this is a situation that has happened multiple times in your life, like it's that thing that person does, they cut you off in traffic, or they, like whatever it is, there's always some little thing, like let's say it is being cut off in traffic, and that might not annoy one person at all, but it really annoys you. Like, that is it. That's the height of, you know, the horns going and the swearing's happening and all of that. So we've all got, you know, this thing, this aspect, this part of us that we kind of feel out of control when we have these feelings. So here's the thing. To feel in control, you need to create a little bit of space, a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of space between when the thing happens and when your reaction happens. As soon as you have that space, and it only has to be the blink of an eyelid length of space, but you need to just be able to capture that space. It's like holding onto an eyelash. Like, it's the tiniest little amount of time, but if you can hold on to that for a second and just identify the time between when the thing happens, the person cuts you off in traffic, the shopping trolley, you know, is broken again. You know, what is like this, there's always some little thing. If you can catch that moment between when the thing happens and you have the reaction, well, now you've got your golden moment. Now you've got your golden opportunity, because that's where now, guess what? You're not out of control. They are not controlling you. You are controlling how you react. And you can decide whether you want to react by being annoyed or not. Like, that then becomes a choice rather than a situation where you feel out of control because it feels like it's not a choice. And it's just by capturing a moment in time. That's all you have to do. Just capture a moment in time. So, let me tell you that if you meditate, it helps. And the reason it helps if you meditate is because when you meditate regularly, I find that it kind of gives you the ability to stretch time, to play with time, to actually kind of be a time magician. So the point of meditation is to increase awareness. At least that's one of the points. So, but when you meditate, there's this inhalation, the way that I do it, and one of the ways I've been taught is where there's an inhalation and then there's a retention. So there's like an inhalation, then a moment of retention, which is kind of where the oxygen has come in and now it's spreading through the body. And then there's an exhalation. So although we feel like we breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, like there's actually a pause at the end of both of those inhalations and exhalations. And the pause is the magic time. That's where you get to play with time. And I don't mean by holding your breath. Like, this is happening in an esoteric way. This is not happening in the real world with your actual breathing and your actual lungs. But when you meditate, your awareness becomes very tuned in to your breathing, if you're doing a breathing meditation. And time has games with you. You have games with time. Time is not a mutable, solid, unmoving thing that is, you know, denoted by the seconds of a clock. That is no longer the case. Time, and we've all experienced it, where time goes fast or where time goes longer, right? So it's our perspective and our experience of something that makes it real, not the thing itself. So if you are having a fabulous time and it feels like, you know, you just blinked and an hour went by, then you've just shifted time. You've just played with time. You've just had a bit of time magic go on. And the same if you have a situation where time just seems to go forever and ever and ever. And that just goes to show that even though the clock's going tick, tick, tick and has an unchanging sort of second hand, your experience of it changes. And that's what I'm talking about with the button pushing. I'm trying, like, okay, so when the thing happens and then there's the reaction, it's the space in between. That's like the retention part of the breathing. It's that moment. You miss it if you're not looking for it. Let's put it that way. So you need to be on the lookout for it. Now, of course, I mean, if these are just little things and, they don't really bother you through your day. But if it is something that is, causing you some angst, and I've been playing around with this question actually, what pushes your buttons, with a few of my clients, and we're having fun looking at it from a different perspective, because the specific things that do push your buttons actually tell you a lot about some of your shadow values. But this is kind of taking any of those instances in your life, and instead of understanding the deeper motivation, we're just looking at, well, am I out of control or am I in control? And can I shift that? And of course, if you feel like you're in control, that's not to say that you're still not going to get annoyed. Maybe that shopping trolley thing is still going to annoy you. Maybe that car cutting in is still going to annoy you. But now it's annoying you because you chose you wanted to be annoyed. See what I'm saying? It's a subtle difference. From the outside looking in, there'd be no difference. There'd be no change. But now, instead of you not only feeling annoyed, but also feeling out of control, you just feel annoyed. And maybe you don't even want to feel annoyed. Maybe you don't even choose that. So that's the game. That's the game I'm suggesting that you may want to have a play with. Does that sound like fun? Does that sound like fun? Anyway, thank you so much for playing with me in the Alignment Sandbox. The message I really want you to hear is that whatever it is, whether it's button pushing, or whether it's how you step into your life, whether it's how you show up for your family, for your friends, whether it's how you feel about yourself, the power is within you. Bye-bye.